The doctors told my wife I might not make it through the night, but instead of sprinting to the ER, she dropped a line that cold-bloodedly iced my soul. "Can't you just patch him up? We have a first-class flight to Hawaii to catch." Imagine laying on a gurney, feeling your chest literally explode, while the woman you spent 25 years backing financially treats your life like a minor flight delay. I was the guy who built a multi-million-dollar tech firm from the mud, grinding 80-hour weeks just so my wife, Vanessa, and our 20-year-old son, Brody, could live like royalty. I bought the mansion, the sports cars, and funded the endless designer shopping sprees. But that Tuesday afternoon, as my heart was completely quitting on me, I learned the hardest way possible that my family didn't love me. They just loved my bank account. They hopped on that plane and left me to kick the bucket alone in a sterile hospital room. But Vanessa made one catastrophic mistake. She assumed I'd actually die. I survived, and while she was out catching tans on the beach, I was busy executing a cold, calculated revenge plan that would leave her and her spoiled son completely bankrupt. Before we find out how I completely stripped them of every single penny, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss the wild, weekly drama stories we drop on this channel. For months leading up to the collapse, I was running on pure fumes. My chest felt like an elephant was constantly tap dancing on it. But whenever I tried to talk about it at home, Vanessa would literally roll her eyes. She'd tell me to quit whining because it was ruining the vibe for her massive one-year anniversary vacation planning. The whole house was nothing but travel blogs, luxury hotel bookings, and beach outfits. So I kept my mouth shut, popped pain meds, and kept grinding to fund their fantasy life. Then came the fateful Tuesday. We were in the middle of a massive board meeting with our primary investors when a lightning bolt of pure agony ripped straight through my left arm and clutched my chest. My vision blurred, and the next thing I knew, I hit the hardwood floor, gasping for air like a fish out of water. My business partner Marcus went into full panic mode, shouting for someone to call emergency services. When the paramedics wheeled me into the emergency room, the head doctor immediately got on the horn with Vanessa. He put it on speaker, right next to my ear so I could tell her I loved her, before they rushed me into emergency surgery. That's when the ultimate betrayal dropped. Vanessa sighed heavily into the speaker. She didn't ask if I was scared. She didn't ask if I was going to make it. She straight up asked the doctor if he could hold off on any major procedures or just give me a magic pill because their non-refundable first-class tickets to Honolulu were boarding in exactly 3 hours. The doctor was so stunned his jaw literally dropped. He told her flat out, "Ma'am, your husband has a massive blockage. He could be dead before sunrise." Vanessa didn't even stutter. She said, "Well, if he's asleep anyway, there's nothing I can do from a waiting room. We'll check in when we land." And just like that, she hung up. Lying in that ICU bed, wired up to a million blaring machines, a switch flipped inside my brain. The physical pain was nothing compared to the ice-cold realization that my 25-year marriage was a total sham. My son, Brody, didn't even bother to text. While I was fighting the Grim Reaper, my phone was buzzing with Instagram notifications of Vanessa and Brody posting selfies from the airport lounge with the caption, "Aloha vibes, family getaway." The only person who stayed by my side the entire time was Marcus, my business partner. He stayed overnight in the waiting room chair, making sure my company didn't tank while I was incapacitated. By Thursday, the doctors were calling me a walking miracle. I was weak, but my mind was sharper than a switchblade. I called my corporate attorney, Arthur, directly to my hospital bed. I told him I wanted a complete scorched earth overhaul of my entire life. See, Vanessa and Brody thought they were slick. Arthur clued me into something wild. While I was out cold on Tuesday, Brody had actually emailed our firm's legal team trying to fast-track a medical and financial power of attorney, claiming I was permanently incapacitated. They wanted total liquidation rights to sell my company out from under me the second my breath stopped. They weren't just taking a vacation. They were actively waiting for the vultures to feast on my corporate remains. That was the last straw. Over the next 3 days, while my family was sipping cocktails on the beach, Arthur and I legally dismantled their future. First, I leveraged a specific clause in our company charter to officially buy out any potential family inheritance shares, transferring 100% of the voting power and corporate control into an ironclad professional trust, managed exclusively by Marcus and an independent board. Next, I altered my personal will and estate plan. Every single asset, from the offshore investment portfolios to the liquid capital, was rerouted to be donated to a national heart disease foundation upon my death. Lastly, I drew up the divorce papers, demanding a full audit of all the marital assets. 5 days later, the front door of the mansion swung open. Vanessa and Brody walked in, sunburnt, laughing and loaded down with designer shopping bags from the luxury boutiques in Oahu. They expected to find a broken, desperate man begging for their comfort. Instead, they walked into the living room and froze. I was standing there, fully dressed in a sharp suit, looking healthier than I had in years. Flanking me on both sides were Marcus and Arthur, with a stack of legal documents sitting on the coffee table. Vanessa tried to play it off, putting on a fake, sugary smile. "Oh, honey, look at you up and moving. We were so worried. We prayed for you the entire flight." "Save it, Vanessa," I said, my voice dead calm. I nodded to Arthur, who slid the paperwork across the table. "You wanted to know if my heart attack could wait for your vacation. Well, it didn't, and neither did my lawyer." Brody looked at the paperwork and scoffed. "What is this, Dad? Some kind of joke?" Arthur chimed in. "It's a total asset restructuring and a petition for divorce. As of 9 a.m. yesterday, the mansion is being placed on the market. The premium credit cards in both your names have been permanently deactivated. Furthermore, the construction and tech firm has been moved into a private trust. You both have exactly 48 hours to pack your clothes and vacate the premises." The color completely drained from Vanessa's face. She dropped her shopping bags, her voice cracking. "Daniel, you can't do this. I'm your wife. We built this life together." "No," I replied, staring her dead in the eyes. "I built this life. You just spent it. You weighed my actual survival against a trip to Hawaii, and the beach won. You signed away your rights to my life the minute you boarded that plane." Brody started screaming, threatening to sue me for his trust fund. Marcus just laughed, reminding him that the trust fund was funded entirely by corporate dividends that now belonged exclusively to a heart health charity. They begged, they cried, and they bombarded my phone with massive apology paragraphs for weeks, but the trust was entirely broken. They had to move into a cramped 2-bedroom apartment on the bad side of town, and Brody had to drop out of his luxury private college to get a regular retail job just to help his mom pay rent. As for me, my second chance at life didn't start when the doctors patched up my heart. It started the exact second I stopped begging for love from people who only valued me when my wallet was full. Now, let's talk about it down in the comments. Some people claim that cutting off my own biological son from his inheritance was going way too far, arguing that a father should always provide for his kids no matter what the wife did. Others say he was an adult who chose to abandon his father for a vacation, so he got exactly what he deserved. Did I go too far by leaving my son entirely penniless, or was this the ultimate taste of karma? Drop your thoughts below and share this video with your friends to see what they think.